Sir, shall I share my number here or in class?
Yeah, you share here, no problem.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So today I will introduce you to a very interesting discipline called network biology. So basically I'll be coming to the same concept again and again from different directions. So because my ultimate aim in this class is to explain you or first clear your understanding of the subject and then teach you how to apply this subject in computational biology, in solving the real life problems. Okay. So first I will introduce you today with the network biology. What is network biology? So I hope you can see this.
Yes, sir.
So what? If you go through this review paper, Barabasi and Oldby. Barabasi and Oldby have wrote one review paper in Nature in 2004. That is on network biology, understanding the cell's functional organization. So this paper is a very famous paper, and you must read this paper in order to understand the network biology or what is network biology. And before that, I would like to clear your concept regarding some basic networks. So if you see the biological network, biological interaction networks, you'll find that network may be of different types, like protein-protein interaction network. There may be metabolic pathway. There may be a signaling cascade. There may be a transcription regulation. So interaction may be of different types. Then if you look at the interactions, for example, first thing we look at the degree or connectivity of a particular node. For example, this is the K is the here. So now you see here, this is the undirected network. So the network may be a directed one, network may be an undirected. So if it is undirected, because you don't have direction, why there is no direction? Because we don't know who is regulating whom. Or this may be possible that each one is regulating another one. So there could be two scenarios. So this is the undirected network. Here A is the node. Now how many connections A is having? So you can count it. It is connected with D, with G, with this one, and this one. So ultimately you have 5. So you have 5 connections. So similarly, this is a directed network. Here you have a direction of the edges. So means E is regulating, who is regulating whom, for example. So like D is regulating A. Okay. So the direction source. So then in that case, the degree you can put in K in and K out, means how many degrees coming on that particular node and how many edges are coming out of that particular node. That is your degree in and degree out. Okay. So you can do this, and in undirected network is characterized by an average degree. That is, the average degree is 2L by N, and there will be N nodes and the L links. So this is the formula for that. This is the average degree K, and then which is 2L by N. In directed network, you can divide into incoming degree and outgoing degree. There is another factor which is very important in a network is called shortest and mean path length. So here in the network, the distance is in the network is measured with the path length. As there are many alternative paths between the two nodes, the shortest path between the selected nodes have a special rule. So we will always find a selected path between the nodes. Therefore, in a directed network, AB is often different from BA. Often there is no direct path between the two nodes. So the average path between all pairs of nodes offers a measure of network's overall navigability. So what people do, they compute the average path of all pairs of nodes. So you can compute the average path of all the nodes, and then you can get the average path length. Okay. There are also some subgraph motifs and motif cluster. You remember in the first class I told that there may be a graph, and you can also divide that particular graph into subgraphs. Okay, or motifs are certain patterns which you can find within the graph. Okay, so the connected subgraph represents the subset of nodes that are connected to each other in a specific wiring diagram. So this is what you can do. Same subgraph, which is known as a motif, is overrepresented as compared with a randomized version of the same network. And also, the motif and subgraph that occur in a given network, they are not independent of each other and are clustered into a motif cluster. Okay. So these motifs and subgraphs are also connected with each other. Okay. But for the sake of convenience, or in order to understand the particular function performed by a network, we can divide into a certain motifs and certain subgraphs. If you see the network can be divided into three types. One is that random network, another one is scale-free network, and third one is the hierarchical network. We are not focusing much on hierarchical network here because this random network and scale-free network, it is very interesting to compare them. So random network is formed by the random connection. So if there is a random connection between the network, that network is known as random network. Okay. And if you see the degree distribution of this random network, this is the probability of K, and this is the degree is the K. Okay. This is the probability of degree, this is the K. So if you plot it, it will look like a Poisson distribution. Okay. It will look like a Poisson distribution. Poisson distribution is a modification of binomial distribution when the number of trial is very large, which tends to infinity, and number of success tends to 0, means number of success is very small. So that's why when binomial distribution has this kind of conditions, binomial distribution can be explained by Poisson distribution. Now this is the clustering coefficient of a random network. Now what happens when you find a scale-free network? A scale-free network is very interesting. Here the connections are not random. Okay. There are certain nodes which are highly connected, and there are certain nodes which are very not connected or connected with one or two nodes. So in this case scenario, if you plot it, the degree, that is the K, and plot in x-axis K and y-axis you can put pk, the probability of K, you will find that but these two axis is log value. Okay, if you plot in log value, what will happen? It will show a straight line. It will show a straight line, and this straight line shows that the power law rule. This is called power law rule. Okay. What is power law rule? Power law rule means a powerful person becomes powerful day by day. This is the power law rule. Okay. So if some node is highly connected, it is likely to be more connected in future. Okay. If somebody is rich, he is likely to be rich tomorrow. Okay. Poor man cannot be drastically rich in one day until he get a lottery or something like that. But a rich person is likely to become richer day by day, and this is called power law rule. So similarly, here also connection becomes more and more with time. So this is the basic difference between random network and scale-free network. I will come back again to these concepts again. Now there is another factor which is called degree distribution. This is another measure of a network which is called pK. This is the probability that selected node has exactly k. So pK is obtained by counting the number of nodes with the k 1, 2, 3 link divided by the total number of nodes. The generic property of a system of, in case of a random network, we will get a positive degree distribution. Here the system has a characteristic degree and there is no highly connected node. So highly connected nodes are also known as hubs, and they are absent in case of the a random network. The power law degree distribution is scale free in case of in a scale free network, and here the few hubs hold the numerous small nodes. So how will you characterize a power law degree distribution? If you find that there are many hub nodes in a network, that node is following the power law degree distribution, and consequently that node is a scale-free network. Why it's called a scale-free network? Because as you remember in the previous slide, this, for example, you want to measure this distribution. Okay, so what you can do? You can measure a standard deviation, you can measure mean, you can measure mode, all these things you can measure here. Okay, so there is a certain scale by which you can measure, but here you cannot measure this distribution. That's why this is called a scale-free distribution. Yeah, there is another interesting feature of this network is the clustering coefficient. Clustering coefficient is the number of links connecting the k neighbor of node I to each other and give the node of triangle. So basically, how many nodes are the neighbor here? That is very important in case of a clustering coefficient. For example, you have a friend. So how many everybody, each one of us has a friendship circle. Okay, and now we have certain friends, and the friends will be common also. So what happens if your friends know each other? All your friends know each other, then your clustering coefficient will be 1, means 100%. For example, 80% of your friends know each other. So in that case, it will be 0.8. So similarly, this clustering coefficient is measured for each node, that whether the nodes of a neighbor, nodes of a particular, of nodes connecting to a particular node are connecting with each other or not. That gives the indication of the clustering coefficient. So this pK, this degree distribution and the clustering coefficient are independent of the system size. Okay. Now let me show you the property of a random network. A random network start with the n nodes and connect nodes with probability p. Okay, it start with the n nodes and connect the nodes with probability p, and it will create a graph with approximately pn n minus 1 by 2 randomly placed in. So I will show you in R how to create a random network someday. Okay, so you can create a graph with approximately pn n minus 1 by 2 randomly placed network, and then the node degree follow a Poisson distribution. Okay, and most nodes have approximately the same number of links, which is close to the average degree, and the clustering coefficient is independent of the nodes degree. Okay. And the mean path length is L is approximating to log n, and is characterized by small world property. What is small world property? Small world property means this world is very small. Okay, you go anywhere in the world and you find that that person may not be known to you, but he may be known to your friend. Okay, that shows the small property. So one experiment was done in US where a person wanted to send a letter through a hand of his friends to an unknown person, and that letter has to pass through hands only. You cannot post it. So what he found that if he is sending to any unknown person, maybe the president of US also, he is sending the letter through some hands, and ultimately within 6 transfers he is getting it is reaching the destination. It means that there is only 6 links are necessary to send a letter to anyone. Okay, that's why he proposed a small world property in the social network. It's a small world property. So now, if you see any network, not only social network, but also you see the biological network, it shows the small world property. If you see the scale-free network, it is proposed by Barabasi and Albert. Barabasi and Albert, you know, they are the pioneer in this field. They have proposed a scale-free network. Okay, and in the scale-free network, what they propose that most biological networks are scale-free. They follow the power law. So power law is a relationship between two scalar quantity x and y. Power law can be seen in a straight line. I have shown you this. This is straight line. This is the straight line. So it can be a straight line on the log scale. Since taking log on both sides, our equation becomes where a is the constant of proportionality and k is the exponent of the power law. They are constant. There is no typical node here. Pk is almost approximates to k to the power minus gamma, where gamma is a degree exponent. Here gamma is a degree exponent. And also the value of the gamma determine many properties of the system. So instead of measuring a mean, mode, median, odd standard deviation, we measure here degree exponent. That is the gamma. Now if the gamma is very small, then the role of hub is more in the network. For example, gamma is usually between 2 to 3. Okay, and then the hierarchy of hub with the most connected hub being connected with a small fraction of all nodes. They are ultra small, and scale exponent if it is between say 2 to 3 and gamma, the range that is observed in most biological and non-biological network, which is significantly shorter than log n, that characterizes the random small world network. Okay, and that's why it is called ultra small world. So this is ultra small world. If you see a metabolic network, it has only 2-3 connections, even not 6. That's why it is called ultra small world. Okay. Hierarchical, I am not more concentrating on hierarchical because our concentration more on the. Now, what is small world effect? The small world effect says that any two nodes can be connected with a path with a few links on it. Okay, that is the. So I told you about the story of sending the letter. So so you can connect to any two node in the network with few links. Biological scale-free networks are ultra small. For example, in the metabolism, path of only 3 to 4 reactions can link most pair of metabolites. Local perturbation in metabolic concentration can reach the whole network. And there are evolutionary mechanisms that have maintained the average path length during evolution in E. coli and H. influenza. Okay. So these path lengths are maintained by evolution because evolution has favored them. That's why they are like that. Another aspect is that halves avoid linking directly to each other and instead connect to protein with only few interactions. So halves generally they are not connected with each other and they connect to the protein with only a few interactions. What happened? Halves, well, just to imagine they are more powerful because they are more connected to the maximum number of nodes. Similarly, in social network also, you will find that the big people don't interact with each other much. They interact with the lowly connected nodes, okay, or the person who having less connection. Therefore, this is what next is the emergence of scale-free topology in biological system. So what Baravasi proposed in his paper, that the growth process of a network, it emerges through addition of new nodes. Okay, for example, here I want to add a one node. Okay, this red node I want to add. Now how to do that. So network emerged from the new nodes that appeared early in the history of the network are the most connected ones. So if you see COA, acetyl CoA, or NAD or GTP, these molecules are very common in the metabolic network. And these nodes appear in the history of the network and early, and therefore they are more connected. Okay. And also there is a preferential attachment. For example, if a node wants to connect to another node, it will prefer a more connected node. And this growth and preferential attachment generate how to a reach gets richer mechanism. This happens. So the gene duplication as the origin of preferential attachment, the duplicated gene produce identical protein that interact the same partner. So for example, gene duplication is a very common phenomenon in nature, and when a particular gene duplicates into two, the two genes may acquire different function. Maybe one gene may work as what it was doing originally, and another copy may adopt a new function. This is called neo-functionalization. Okay? Sometimes a gene is duplicated, and each one performs a part of the function. This is called sub-functionalization. So there are two ways of doing that. One is sub-functionalization, another is neo-functionalization. The protein with large number of interactions, they tend to link more often, as it is more likely that they interact with the protein that has been duplicated. So what happens when you have a protein with large number of interactions? They tend to link in more and more, and then they more likely they interact with the protein that protein which is duplicated. So these are some of the observations. Now I will talk about what is the difference between modules and halves. So scale-free property and modularity, they seem to be contradictory. Module is a kind of isolated entity in the system. For example, you can think this has one module, this one has one other module, this one has another module, this green one is another module. So you can divide into different modules, although they are connected. Now halves have a high fraction of nodes, so they are connected with a high fraction of nodes. The ambiguity in module boundaries originated from not only in the limitation of existing automatic clustering method, but also in network's hierarchical modularity. So there is a hierarchical modularity in the network, and therefore we cannot make a boundary. We cannot say this is isolated, this one is isolated, this one is isolated. All are connected with each other. Therefore, you cannot define a boundary here. Another property of the network is that network robustness. So what happens? A system responds to the changes in the external condition. So when you change the external condition, system also wants to adapt to the altered situation or altered environment, and therefore this ability of the system to respond to changes is called network robustness. So system will have some robustness. If you see the topological robustness, many complex systems, including the biological system, it can be resilient against a component failure. If you fail one part of the component, the system will not fail. System will continue to work because some other component will take up its role. Okay. Similarly, topology has a key role in topological robustness. And in a scale-free network, random failure affect mainly the numerous small degree node, but absence of which doesn't disrupt the network integrity. If hub is intact, network is also intact. So what happens if you hit the hub, then, or if you somehow knock out the hub from a system, then the system will collapse because the hub is controlling so many nodes. But if you if you see the nodes which are low, with low connection, these nodes, even if you are removed, the function of that particular node is taken over by some other node. Even in the disease case also we see that the disease genes are low connection nodes. They are not highly connected nodes. None of the disease genes are hubs in the network. Okay. Because if the disease genes means there is some deficiency, there's some problem in the health, but the organism is surviving. But if there's a problem in the hub node itself, the organism cannot survive. And there is also a functional or dynamical robustness. Okay, so I have introduced you, and I want to share one book by Newman. Or you can just download it. Know how to download. You can just go to Libgen and download it. Newman book, network. Okay, Newman.
Sir, could you please send in the chat box?
Name of the book. Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. In the syllabus it is mentioned. No, you see your syllabus. Your syllabus is with you. You see in the syllabus, I have mentioned Newman.
Okay, sir.
Just you download it. How we are getting book is not there. So this is a very introductory book on the network, and I will also find out that where is my the review paper related to Barabasi. I will also share with you. Okay. Now, if you have a question, you can ask. My classes will not be very long classes because all are conceptual classes. So therefore, there is not much, not lot of information, only few informations. And these informations are very crucial. Understand? So if you want to elaborate more, you can ask me. So what I have talked today, I have talked about biological network. I have talked about two forms of network, that is scale-free network and the random network. I've talked about properties of the random network as a scale-free network, and I will again elaborate on these topics. It is not that this is just introduction. Your 80% of classes will just move around this concept of the network. Okay? Yeah. Your class is more focused for network rather than MSc class. MSc class has so many things. But MTech class is very much focused for the network. Today, Subhasis joined. He didn't join. I sent him a link yesterday. Okay. I don't know where is that paper. What? Okay, I'm sharing one paper with you. That is related to power law rule in the network. Okay, so you will understand it better. Okay, I have shared with you both the slides, whatever slide I have discussed, and there is also a power law paper. You read both. So now you have got the papers.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. Okay. So, Hema, have you shared your number here in the classroom?
Yes, sir. I will.
Just to respond to me in the classroom, it will come to me. Okay? Yeah. It will come. So we'll be meeting next Wednesday again. Okay? Just around 10:45. If I'm late, you just log in after 10 minutes. And we will meet on Wednesday. Tomorrow class will not be held. And if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, I will close. Any question? Otherwise, I have to give attendance also. Today only Satish is absent, and there is another student which is having Subhashish. Subhashish will also join your class because he could not continue before 1 or 2 batches. He could not continue studies, so he dropped after 1 year. Now you want to complete the course, so he will be also joining your class. He was an MTech student. So Subhashish, I have already invited him, but I don't know why he didn't get my link. So we'll find out. And so next class, I hope you join. And in new batch, only one person is present, absent, I think. If Satish is absent today. Satish didn't join today, no? Because sometime between network connectivity, they go out. Okay, so you read both the papers, and if you have any questions, you can ask me in the next class. Okay? So we will meet on Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.